Abrams,
Abrams.
and happy to be here with. Yeah, I guess. It's I have to listen to the intro and outro like a ton of times every week when I'm trying to edit the ends and the beginnings, and I have to
Right.
listen to us.
Uh,
Hey man, hey man, what's up, man?
fumble our way in,
Oh
fumble
my
our way in,
gosh, it's
fumble
the
our way out.
worst. We're just the worst at this. Like you think, at some point we just got to get a little better. You know,
No,
that's what I was
that's good. I
thinking.
mean, you'd think at some point after 20 years and of course this is actually we
You're good
are
on stage. You can talk. You can talk.
but we are 20. This is our 20th anniversary. Last month was our 20th anniversary on the road. I think I'd mentioned that on the on another episode before, but
Yeah.
you'd think after 20 years of touring that we'd have intros and outros down.
Yeah.
That's good, man. I really liked it. You just drew me in with that. You drew me in.
Oh, good.
I felt good. I felt good about that. It was power.
Well, I think
Yeah.
probably, if anything, this sort of series we got going is probably helped me more than anybody. You know, on stage, we actually can be a little more. We've kind of we've reviewed a lot of the stories so far that we've experienced. Thank you, Julie, for liking
Thanks,
the
Julie.
stream. Thank you, Jody, for also coming in with the first comment. Jody says, "Hi guys, happy Monday." Yes, happy Monday. Mondays are great day.
They are a good
You
day.
know, I feel like this kind of makes Mondays a little better for me.
I get
Um,
excited for Mondays now because of this. No, but you're right, James. I mean, we grew up. So just for anybody, who didn't see us when we were much younger performing. I mean, our dad performed on stage with us, right? And so dad, he's a judge now. He was a lawyer then. He's always been a very good orator, good stage, good sort of presenter. He was a litigator, so he actually, he was a lawyer who went to court and did trials, jury trials, things like that. So he was always a very good presenter. So dad always did the talking when we were much much younger, right? Because he
good.
kind of helped us and sort of would do the banter between songs, and then it just sort of, I think it naturally evolved to me doing it when I was really young, right? So there was a bit of that going on, but because of that, by default, James didn't always have the opportunity to kind of be
Okay, let's
as
quit the gag. I was trying to make you feel good. This is actually how I feel
no
about
no
you.
no no. This is what I'm saying. This
See
is how
this?
this
See
is
this
how
right
it
here?
this is how it evolved, right? So I think it's
See
awesome that
this?
we're doing
See
this
this
banter
bird?
back and forth now.
You see this bird right here? Okay,
What,
this
what
one
about it?
flying is me. This one is you. See this? See, just taking the free ride, riding on my back. See, I'm doing all the work, and then I get wise to you just taking a free ride, buddy. That's
Wait, I thought you were just talking about
no,
how I always
no,
did the talking on
no,
stage.
no. It's a complete 180.
Wait, so
Um,
you're the one
I would
who's
like
carrying
some
me and I'm doing
appreciation
the
here.
free
Thanks,
ride?
Trish, for commenting as well. Hello from Kingston. Right on. Kingston's a great town. Obviously we're
It
from
is.
Kingston, and
Well, James, I appreciate that we all feel like we have different perspectives.
this is all I could
How's that
think
for
of.
a non-answer?
This this is all I could think when I saw this, and I know we
I
did
love
this
that.
last week, but
Look at that. We all
anyways,
have jobs to do, James. We all have jobs. James happens to be the podcast tech savvy one, so he does carry a lot of the tech for this show. So I'm very thankful to you, James. You're a good man, and you work hard at making this thing fantastic. I think.
it's more fun than anything. But we appreciate anybody dropping in and hanging out for a little bit. We do it every Monday at 5:30. And we just love having people hang out and say something in the chat. It makes it more
Yeah,
interesting,
jump
if you
on
have
and ask us
thoughts, if
questions
you
too.
want to
Like we love going
ask
off on
questions, yeah,
tangents. That's why it's
yeah.
called off road.
If you have a comment about what we're talking about, or if yeah, whatever. I mean, it just makes it more interesting, regardless of whatever you have to say. Um, it was quite a week. I mean, there was a couple of things, and we're gonna get into them
Good
eventually over
week.
the hour. We're here for about an hour. There was a bunch of UFC fights on the weekend. There was the Oscars, so I mean, we can
Yep.
chat about those things. Um, I found some, as I always dig up a few weird things from the internet, and
Always a good move.
I guess I could get your
Always a good
thoughts
move.
on this.
Yeah, James. Let's
Um,
see what's going on. What's going on in James time this
I
week?
found that of all the places that we have toured, we've never found this place. Okay, this is apparently a lake in Michigan.
What?
and
Is that one
that's a
word?
legitimate name for a lake in
Are you
Michigan.
kidding me?
This is the
Can you
post.
have you actually
Hey
figured that out?
Nico.
Can you pronounce that? Have you actually did you take time to figure that out?
So
I can't see it.
this is a
It's too far away.
real. Okay, just make it bigger then, John.
Chargog
Problem is, it's gonna go.
Chargogagog Gamet. Oh my goodness, man. Come on.
This is a legitimate lake. This is not good.
Punch that into Google
Can you see
pronounce
it
for me.
now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good.
The lake. You've got lake.
Chargogagog Gammon Chagog Gagog Chabanagaga
Okay,
Chamungaga.
so here's what it
I
says.
nailed it. That was awesome. First time. Just like that. Now who's riding on
Here's what
whose
it says.
coattails, James?
Yeah, exactly. This is what it says. This is a real lake in Massachusetts, and possibly the longest place name in the country.
Oh yeah,
For
that's
highway
clearly what they're going for.
signs, for highway signs, it usually is replaced by Webster Lake.
Lake Chumbawamba.
Ethel Mer- Ethel Merman sang the name in the lake song. I'm not sure
No,
of that song.
the
That's
lake song.
that was. Oh goodness,
That's incredible. How many syllables?
John.
That's a poem unto itself. That's incredible. So okay, this is in Michigan. This
yeah.
feels very Michigan too.
So
I
anyways,
love Michigan, man.
we've seen a lot of stuff
seen a lot of
around
Michigan,
the country,
but not
but
that
we have
part.
not seen that.
Yeah, shout out to Dave, our sound technician from the U.S. who tours with us. He's from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, which is gorgeous, by the way. It's a lot like Upper Peninsula of Michigan. It's a lot like Northern Ontario, so it feels very homey whenever we tour up through there. Eh?
Lots of hockey.
Isn't that's kind of the vibe?
Yeah, no, it does.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. Trees and rocks and trees and lakes. That's most of Canada for you. So if you want to experience Canada, just Google rocks and trees and lakes, and there you go. You've just done your trip during COVID. Well, you couldn't travel anyway.
Jody writes in the chat. Careful, I grew up in Michigan. No, we absolutely
no, we love
Michigan.
That's incredible, though. Jody, please tell
home.
us if you have been to this lake, because we have no clue how to pronounce that. I tried it. Feel like I did a great job. Probably butchered it, but I went in confident. So that's
Jody
all that matters.
says, "Have you seen the sign war that started in Virginia?" No.
No. Sign war, Virginia.
And then it said, now there's one in Chatham.
There's a sign war in Chatham? What's the sign war?
Googling it right now.
I love,
sign
you know what?
war has erupted in Virginia town, and now the world is watching.
Amazing. So what's this?
A sign outside Bridge Caldro, the store that started the sign war in Virginia. A war is heating up among businesses in Virginia. For the past week and a half, businesses in the town have engaged in a friendly sign war, poking lighthearted fun at each other through puns. Nice.
That's always a good move. Puns are the best.
It started with a local music store. Music store.
Leave it to the artists. Leave it to the artists.
Put up a sign challenging Super Shoes, the shoe store next door. The sign guitar strings. Okay. So basically, they're just going. That's Chatham, Ontario. Has continued this.
Yeah, which Chatham is great.
That's what
we've hung out quite a bit.
Wolves?
Chatham radio station down there.
Nico?
Good folks.
Yeah,
good.
True.
In fact, the Chatham radio station down there, the country radio station, they're some of the first people to have ever had us in to perform after we started kind of dipping our feet into country music way back in the early 2010s. Like, we went down there, Chatham and Wingham, little radio station in Wingham, not too far as well. That's southwestern Ontario. Oh, I love it. Absolutely. I love the sign war though. That's a good deal. But these are the kinds of towns, these little small towns that James and I love touring through, and those are the best stories that we get from on the road for sure.
Yeah, you done with that?
Yeah, no. I just.
What do you got drinking? What are you drinking today?
I'm drinking coffee today, man. I'm drinking cold coffee. Nice. Now, you said you were doing some cold coffee brews lately. How's that been going for you? And honestly, I don't know, what is a cold brew other than letting your coffee go cold or dumping a bunch of ice in it. Like what's the?
I think. I know at Starbucks. At Starbucks, they will make a very concentrated coffee, and then they water it down, basically.
Okay.
With ice and I believe water or a milk or whatever, or cream. And they do that with, now I might be totally wrong, but that was always my opinion, or my what I thought.
I
Old
totally
old
remember what I was
rule.
going to say because I lost my train of thought. That's why there was a big, there was a big
No,
gap
no, no,
there.
no. I was gonna jump in, but then I was
No,
like, I'm gonna leave them
no,
hanging.
legit.
Just I thought I'd try it,
I
see if it
actually
was
had
more
I
interesting.
had a thought and then I forgot it and I was like playing it off like I did, like
Okay.
I didn't
Well,
have anything
listen,
planned.
I
No, no,
normally jump in. I deliberately left some dead air just to see what would happen. I'm
just
not.
see
I
what
won't do it
happened. Yeah.
again, but
No, no,
I
I
thought it'd
like.
be.
I was
Oh,
gonna
let's
say
look at
puns.
this.
I like puns. Okay, we've talked about this.
Oh
Like I
yeah,
like
puns.
dad joke puns. And it goes back to when I was in grade 9 science class. I don't think I've ever told this story on the podcast, but grade 9 science class, Mr. Mackay was my science teacher at LaSalle Secondary School.
Legend.
Every day, suspenders every day. And he's a blacksmith, like by trade outside of school. That's what he did. He taught and he was a blacksmith, kind of like a Ron Swanson, like, like goes, works in some sort of government body or government funded body, and then is like a blacksmith or woodworker or something, right? So, anyway, Parks and Rec. I've also been watching Parks and Rec. That's why I was thinking of Ron Swanson. So, Mr. Mackay, his his humor was like the most bruise your knee slapping puns out of anybody I've ever heard. And in grade 9, none of my fellow classmates would laugh, but I would sit there at the back of the class and just like intentionally laugh out loud, like his so that he would just keep them coming. That way he would. I
Yeah,
just
just
didn't want him to ever get self-conscious and stop. I wanted him to keep the puns coming, and so he was like lit up with puns that year because I just kept being his best audience member.
that's awesome. No,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
good. It's
I
good
love
just
that.
to see how far he would go, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm
Well,
sure it
and
was
we
entertaining, regardless of the how
well,
good
yeah,
the
and I would
jokes were.
literally
I mean,
slap
nobody
my
can hit
knee,
every
grade
joke.
9.
Yeah.
It's great. No, his best one was uh John, you play the fiddle, right? I said, yeah, yeah, I do, because I was playing quite a bit more fiddle then. He said, well, yeah, we've got to keep violins off the street. We got
Oh
to
yeah, yeah,
get
yeah,
rid of the
yeah,
street
yeah,
fiddlers. No
yeah,
more
yeah,
violins
yeah,
on the
yeah.
street.
That's a good one. Jody says
So
cold
anyway,
coffee is a stronger brew, so kind of what I
okay,
was saying, with
got it.
simple syrup added if you like sugar, then
Mm,
cream. It's awesome with
yeah.
whipped coffee too. Whipped
Oh
cream,
yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, yeah, whipped cream for sure. Speaking of
Um,
puns, it has been many years, but you and I had a really great experience that I'll never forget. It was a really amazing songwriting experience getting to write with Ron Sexsmith. And you and we wrote a song with Ron Sexsmith, and Ron is like the king of puns. Ron had, I don't know if he still does it, but on his Twitter feed for a long time, he was doing like a pun a day. And for anybody who hasn't checked out Ron Sexsmith, who's a phenomenal Canadian singer songwriter, for anybody who might be outside of Canada, although Ron is a brilliant writer and he's been all over the world and is hugely respected around the world. Paul McCartney is a fan. Elton John's talked about him a number of times. Um, Ron is a brilliant writer and the master of the puns. Jason Mercer, who played bass with us for a number of years on the road, toured all throughout the U.S. with us, all over Canada. Jason plays with Ron, and Jason would just rhyme off puns of Ron's when we were on the road. So definitely for anybody who wants to find a new songwriter to add to their catalog who hasn't listened to Ron Sexsmith, you got to check out Ron's work. He's amazing, and it was a great experience writing a song with him because Ron is for anybody who's a fan of him, Ron is a really big fan of Captain Crunch, and Jason Mercer told us this before we went to go write with him. So James and I, we stopped at Shoppers Drug Mart before we showed up to Ron's place to write, and we bought him a box of Captain Crunch cereal and brought it to him. And we wrote. He was like, "Oh, thanks, guys." When we showed up and sat down and wrote a song, and I remember distinctly, James and I left Ron's house in Toronto, and we said, "Hey, thanks so much, man. It was a really great ride." He's like, "Oh yeah," and Ron's very, very quiet, very soft-spoken guy. very insular, very sort of thoughtful person. And so he was, oh yeah, no problem, guys. Yeah, it was a really nice ride. And we left Ron's house, and we just walked out to the car and we put our instruments into the car, into the back. And I'm not kidding you. We weren't, James and I hadn't stepped off of his front step, walked to the car. It wasn't a minute. It wasn't, I think it must have been 45 seconds because we just put our instruments in. And I remember I turned right around to go back because I forgot to ask him the best way out of Toronto at that time of day, because James and I hadn't been, doing a lot of work in Toronto by that point. And I got back to the door. It wasn't a minute since we said goodbye to him, shook his hand at the door. He was already sitting down at the table with the bowl of Captain Crunch and the milk poured spoon in on his first few bites of Captain Crunch after we left the door. So anyway, big fan, incredible writer. Go check him out. And that was a story time with John.
That's right. Well, and I saw here he is still on the pun or the kind of witty kind of,
I love it.
I never looked forward to history class. I always looked backward to it.
That's the kind of thing Mr. Mackay would do in science class. That's 100% the kind of joke. Perfect. Like groaner dad jokes. Some of them would just be hilarious, and some were just like
sorry, Jody said my cat's just jumping in here. Okay, we're good.
I saw that.
Jody says whipped cream. Yeah. Wait, no, whipped coffee, not whipped cream.
Whipped coffee.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that.
It's a new one for me.
Joelle May. Hey guys, Ron Sexsmith is hilarious. Can vouch.
Love it.
He headlined a short live festival in Victoria that I worked on probably a decade ago and kept me in stitches backstage. That's awesome.
It's so true. And shout out to Joelle and Paul and everybody at Sakamoto, our agency. We love you guys so much. They have been working so hard for us over the last few years since we started working with them, and they're incredible. They keep us out on the road, and we're all in this together through the COVID pause and playing the odd gig. But it's great to have you on, Joelle. Thank you so much. Right on, James. Right on.
I guess Moving forward, I mentioned a couple of the events of the past week that we were kind of following along with. Did you see any of the highlights of those UFC fights? We can't play any of it because it's just so brutal. Oh my goodness, the injuries! The injuries were terrible.
Wait, was this?
There was one guy who kicked
Logan Paul fight.
No,
was
John.
this that one?
John, why would you even bring that up? Why would you even bring up the Logan Paul fight?
Then I gotta say, I don't follow UFC. You're gonna have to bring me up to speed on what's going on here. Like, did Conor McGregor fight this week?
No.
James is so disappointed. Look at his face.
So the UFC fight, legitimate, real, actual fighters, not YouTubers, were fighting, and there was just these terrible injuries. There was one guy. He went did like a normal looking kick where they're just. There's kicking, there's punching, there's all this
just
stuff,
a normal looking kick to the head, No,
to the shin, to the other guy's shin. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And his leg, so he goes to kick. I can't even do the thing, but his leg, when it hits the other guy's leg, it completely just breaks.
The kicker, the kicker guy.
Yeah, his foot, the guy who was kicking, and his foot is just like dangling. It was the weirdest thing ever. It was terrible.
That is so brutal.
And there was another injury, leg injury. Oh, something about a guy getting kicked in the back of his knee, and then it hit a nerve somehow, and his shin down to his foot went numb, and so he couldn't use any of the muscles or something. Couldn't feel it. It was all numb. I think he'll be fine, but the other guy, he can't fight ever again. I mean,
imagine the insurance these guys have to buy. Like, what are the premiums for the insurance these guys have to buy? Like, what?
Yeah, they must, right? I don't know.
Well, they have. I mean, yeah, there's got to be some. There's got to be, and I would imagine that the premiums are just insane. Like insane. How do you insure that?
No, I don't know. I haven't thought about that. But,
and you know what?
Feel for those guys. And but it was one of the most. Apparently, it was one of the most entertaining overall fights. Like every fight was pretty intense. Masvidal and there was another guy. I can't remember that was the big fight. I don't really follow UFC, but it was notable because of just these these injuries. I mean, I feel like everybody was talking about them this week, but
See, we grew up in boxing, you and I, and
yeah, just
UFC
kind of
has
not as
kind of
relevant.
replaced in a lot of ways a lot of the audience, not necessarily replaced, but a lot of the audience are watching UFC now more than boxing. Boxing seemed to me like it was more popular before UFC came into the fold. And
Oh, of
James and I
course it
used to
was.
do it.
It
We
was it
used
was the
to
biggest thing, like fighting wise. It was the fighting medium. It was like um, all the
one,
big fighting stars were all
yeah,
boxers, right?
exactly. And one of the toughest workouts. Like, you remember we were young,
Oh,
like
when we
just
were
going
at
to
the yeah.
boxing. Oh, the cardio at Kingston Youth Boxing Club, incredible workout. But I remember, like, I used to get in the ring and actually go to the odd fight. Didn't fight many times, but I
John
did a
did
few
fight. I have
fights.
to say, I was too young. John actually
Yeah,
did fight a few times,
I
and I was
did.
proud
I
of
was
him
in
for
the
that. It
ring,
was
and
tough.
the trouble was I was like 12 years old when I was doing this, and nobody else was at the club that was 12 years old, and so I was always sparring with 17-year-olds. And I have a particular, like, I have a pretty strong profile to my nose. Okay, I will say it's a fairly prominent nose, so it would always stick out. James James throws on the story time panel whenever I go off on a tangent. It's called off road for a reason.
It's
Anyway,
good.
you have the boxing protective headgear, right? Because we were amateur boxing. I mean, it's the kind you score points for. We weren't knocking each other out at 12 years old. Um, but my nose was always a bit too prominent for the cheek pads. So the 17-year-olds, it didn't take much. They could just bop me on the nose, and I'd get a double nosebleed,
Yeah,
and
your
it would
nose is
just
soft. You had a soft
pour.
nose.
It would just pour over my, and I always wore a white shirt. I don't know why. I always wore a white shirt. I should have wore red or black,
Yeah,
but I
black.
always wore white. And it was just,
Yeah,
maybe it was
our
like,
red. Yeah, you're right.
and I would just fight harder when I get a bloody nose. And these poor, like, older teenagers would think, oh my goodness, I've hurt this poor little 12-year-old kid. I've whacked him in the head too hard, right? And then they get all like gingerly and like, oh, I don't want to hurt him any further. And I just come in and start drilling away. Those are good
You
times
were
though.
good.
It was
I was
good. That
proud
was
of you
good times.
those moments because they were tough. And
Yeah.
even if you didn't necessarily win, did you win? You win one,
I
lose
only
one,
really fought
or two? Just two
exhibition.
times.
I fought two exhibition,
You
which is not win or lose.
yeah.
And then the only time that I actually went to a fight where it was for a win or lose match, I lost. It was in Cornwall, and it was against this
Ontario.
kid was Cornwall, Ontario. Yeah. So the home of Ryan Gosling, for anybody who's interested in that trivia.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, I went to fight in Cornwall, and the trouble was I had been training with these 17, 18-year-old teenagers at the boxing club, who were way taller than me, right? So it's a completely different way to train when you're fighting and you're the smaller guy and you're punching up, and there's a completely different method. You got to get inside to try and, get all your points in here on the body, right? And I get to this fight in Cornwall, and there's this little kid who's about 12 or 13. Maybe he was like a year older than me, but I'm not kidding, James. Like, I think you were there. This kid,
Oh, I was there.
yeah, this kid, okay, I was like yay tall. This kid was tiny, like a tiny little guy, but he was a scrappy little guy, right? And the trouble was, I had never trained on guys smaller than me. I had never been the big guy or the tall guy. And so anyway, he got in. He was just drilling away on me, and I was trying to do these big hooks around his head, and I just kept missing him. And yeah, I lost. It was a pretty quick. The points were over. They called
Yeah.
it, and
All John heard was
then I stopped fighting. No, it wasn't because of that. It was just I didn't get another chance to fight before I moved on. Yeah, that's how I felt.
no,
Felt
in
like
all
that.
honesty,
I didn't
I
get a
think
bloody nose that day
even though
though.
you didn't necessarily um win any of them.
Well, the only other two I fought were not win or lose, and I think I held my own the other two.
What do you mean they weren't win or lose?
They were exhibition bouts. Exhibition
There's
bouts
no
are
winner. There's
there's no
winners and there's
points.
always winners and losers.
No. There's no, okay. There's an exhibition bout, which is it's no points. You just do a few rounds. It's like, it's just part of the, particularly for kids, like it's showing, what the clubs are doing with the kids and stuff like that. And so, no, it was just an exhibition fight.
Okay, whatever.
And so
I
the other two
regardless.
exhibition fights, I'd fought a guy that was bigger than me. So anyway,
Regardless, even if you lost to a little
I lived.
kid and you know, you never won.
I never won.
You
I know I didn't.
learn. I think there was learning thing there. You learn from the
Yeah,
fights, right?
yeah,
If you get a
absolutely.
if you get a bloody nose, you push through.
Push
You
through.
finish the fight. You
Yeah,
know.
true.
What were there any other learning?
Well, I
we could
mean,
pass.
I have never had a bloody nose on stage, but one time when you and I were on tour, because I sometimes get them because I get dry, like my nose gets dry, right? So it's I actually used to get them quite a bit as a kid, to the point where mom was kind of concerned, and we took me to the hospital and got me checked out, and it turns out I was okay, obviously, but so that was kind of a thing. But you and I, when we were on tour, I can't remember where we were, but I'm pretty sure it was in the US and we were on tour. I've never had a bloody nose on stage. And it's always this like big fear of mine that somehow in the middle of it, except for one time where it was right near the end of a set, I got I got it on stage in the last song before intermission.
Terrible.
And thankfully, I I was able to kind of sniff in between syllables as I was singing. I ran off stage. I went to the bathroom, and I like it was a short intermission too. I seem to remember, and I had to get the bloody nose fixed before we could go out for the second set.
Okay.
No, seriously, that's only happened once though. It's a
Yeah.
miracle actually. So yeah,
Anyways, there's lots to learn from that.
yeah. So I learned how to deal with bloody noses. That's
Yeah,
what I learned from
that's
boxing
right. That's right.
and
Jody
self
says
discipline.
that fire is giving me CFW big time campfire withdrawal. Yeah, it's just
Ooh,
about that time of year. We can
it is
start
that time of
start
year.
start doing the campfires. Lisa
Yeah.
says, "Hey guys, hope you had a nice weekend. Our week was good. We were talking about. Oh, Akeem says that our week was good. Thanks for asking, Akeem. We were particularly we were following the UFC fights that happened this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
not a huge UFC
I
fan,
wasn't.
but I just had heard about that stuff and the Oscars.
Yes,
John had got some camping gear. I think we should do some
I did. And
unboxing. Let's do some
actually,
unboxing.
what's that?
Let's do
Let's
some
do some unboxing.
unboxing.
And actually, Jody, that's great you brought that up, because Alex and I just got our backyard all cleaned up. We got our gardens all in, and I dug all the ash heap out of my campfire. What do you call it? Fire pit, my fire pit. I
Nope.
randomly, nope. Anyway, got my fire pit all cleaned out. We had a nice fire. And on the topic of camping, I'm all geared up for summer camping. Just watched the film Nomadland. We're going to come back to that because we're going to talk about Oscars. But we finally kind of got our camping gear set up complete. So I wanted to do some unboxing because I got some gear from Trailhead in Kingston. Really great little spot downtown Kingston. They've been there forever, and they have like the best camping gear. So let's take a look. Okay, first of all, this is actually not something that I got new today, but it's something that my brother-in-law Pierce got me years ago. James obviously knows Pierce very well because he lived with us for a while. And I haven't used this yet, but this is the water filtration system that Pierce got me, James. And I just finally set it up yesterday.
All right, let's open it
So
up.
it's pretty brilliant, man. This is a portable filtration system that all you have to do is plug the hoses in. Okay. So this end plugs in. It's very satisfying, that sound. Okay. You just put this in the lake, like right in the lake. And it can be sediment filled and kind of scummy, and it will filter it all out down here from the pieces. And then the water that comes through, it'll filter it back, all the bacteria, giardia, E. coli, everything right in here in this little filter system. Okay. And then you have a little output hose, which goes into like a water bottle, or I actually got a like a water bladder to be able to hold more water, but keep it more portable in the backpack.
Yeah.
So this hose goes onto here. If you can see it, just kind of sticks in to the output valve there. And I tested it yesterday. It totally works. And then you just hand pump from the lake through this little thing. And on the other end, it's 100% drinkable water.
Wow, that's crazy.
100%. Like you can literally just do it. If you just pump, like, I think it's 45 pumps and you got a liter of water.
That's crazy, man.
Incredible. So it means that like I'm now able
Yeah,
to
you're good to go. I mean, if that's one of the what's the things? It's the shelter, water,
fire, water, shelter, food.
food.
Those are kind of the 4 things.
So you
Food,
got
water,
one.
shelter.
Or isn't it
Food,
the
water,
3
shelter.
is the main?
Yeah,
Jody
food, water,
says-
shelter, fire, water, shelter. Yeah, I'd say those. They're 4. There are 4. Water, food, fire, shelter.
And
Right.
friends. And friends, right?
And friends.
Jody
friends.
says, "Have you ever winter
true.
camped?"
I have. Have we ever winter camped, you and I? We have
went
cold
and had
camped
we went
down
and
south.
had a we went for a walk one time with Dad, and it was wintertime. I don't think we
We
slept
did a
there.
campfire.
Campfire.
No, I haven't done a proper tent winter camp.
Yeah,
No,
I haven't either.
definitely slept in cabins in the winter, not tent. James and I, it was pretty cold the night that we slept behind that propane tank on that random piece of little land down in the States, and we were worried about people running us off the land. That was a time. Anyway, I think we talked about that on a different podcast episode.
Yeah,
though.
we did.
Okay,
It's
so
good, dude. We just bring them up again, like.
yeah.
doesn't
Okay,
matter.
well that was what happened. James and I were on this tour. It was just us in an SUV.
No, I'm not saying repeat the story. I'm just saying it's okay to bring it up again.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we pitched the tent out behind a propane tank off the side of the road. You know when you drive by on the highway and you see like a propane tank.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a little pot set. It fits in your backpack. But look, it's a skillet pan on top. And inside is the little handle that goes with the stuff. And then you got a little kettle that sits right in the pot. And then it's in a pot within another pot. Look at that. It's a whole kitchen set. And it goes right down into a single.
It's like one of
unit.
those Russian dolls, you know?
It's like it's a Russian doll for
What's it called?
for food.
What's a Russian doll called again?
A Russian doll.
No, there's
Yeah.
a name, isn't there?
Look it up. I've always called them Russian dolls. Russian.
A minotaur.
Nope,
I'm joking.
not even close. All right,
It's
so
like
that's
a bull,
that.
isn't it?
Yeah, that's a half bull, half.
Oh no, I can't pronounce it. John, can you pronounce this?
Wait.
That's the name. I've heard people say it.
Matryoshka doll?
But
Matryoshka doll?
Babushka
Yeah,
ball?
Matryoshka?
Doll?
Matryoshka doll? I think that's it. That sounds familiar to me. Anyway, so that's cool. That's
Okay.
my little pot
Moving
set. I'm
on.
really excited about that because, you know, what I'm going to show you next is kind of part and parcel. So there we go, pot set. Oh yeah, so I've had these before. These are if you can't catch
It's a loud
fish,
one.
so you need a backup, freeze dried like meals. Just add water, hot water kind of thing. So there's
Like
mac and
space
cheese.
food.
Yeah, basically, they're actually really good though. Cheese and mushroom risotto, very nice. Pad thai with chicken. Apparently, this is a very popular one. And
Who told you that was a popular one?
the person who sold it to me. Anyway,
Oh my goodness.
forever young mac and cheese. Very nice.
Forever
had-
Young?
Yeah, forever young mac and cheese. She also said this one's really good too. So I bought them.
What kind
Like a
of
sucker.
name is that?
Last year, I actually had a like a cream sauce pasta, and you can actually pour the water right into the bag and zip the bag up and shake it and let it set, and you can actually eat it right out of the bag. They're like a thermal bag that it comes in, and it's actually really good. And there was enough food, like when it gets like kind of the moisture gets into it, there was enough food because it was just me and Clooney camping last year. You'll remember from last year's podcast, I showed pictures of that.
Right.
I had more than I could eat, and there was enough left over to give Clooney dinner off of just one pack. So anyway,
I'm sure Clooney wanted more, but
yeah, well, Clooney always wants more. Yeah.
where is he, by the way? We haven't seen Clooney in a bit.
Clooney is doing well. He's
Where's
don't
he
know. He's
at?
hanging out. Probably sleeping on the bed, getting all his hair on our bed, probably. I finally
Okay.
got a compass, a proper little compass.
Yeah.
I don't have a compass. You know, we're
See, the
so
real
addicted to our phones.
camper people,
Hmm.
they can just tell by the moss in the trees, right? So you
Well,
don't.
well,
I'm
yeah.
not saying I can do that, but
Well, yeah, you can. We were
the
showed that
North
when we were
Star.
younger. Yeah, the moss grows on the north side. Usually, that's a pretty
I
inaccurate way to
actually
do
have
it,
no
but
clue. Those are the things,
it's
right?
true.
There's no
The
more
lichen grows on the north side. That's what
lichen.
we were always told. And then this is the water bag. And I hope I'm not boring anybody here, but this is kind
No,
of
no, no.
this is kind of fun.
Unboxing. I like unboxings, John. I'm enjoying
Boxing
this.
are kind of neat. Okay, so this is a dromedary bag by MSR. They're like a very popular tent making company and like equipment company. And so this is nice because instead of bringing a water bottle that takes up a bunch of space in your pack, this is a good option for anybody out there who kind of looking for different methods. Okay, that's kind of hard to open. All right, I got it. So this folds right up, but it's a great big proper sealed water bag, and you can hang it from a tree, right? You just hang it from a tree, and then see our filter will go right into that. It fits in there.
Oh.
And then you can actually just, you know, this will hold 10 liters of water. So you can just get a bunch of purified lake water. Last you out there, man. That's the way to go. And then that folds right up, goes in your backpack, weighs nothing. That's the best way to go, I think, instead of bringing a big plastic water bottle and, you know. Oh, here's one more. One more. This one's kind of neat. This is a little light for inside the tent that you can hang up in the center of the tent. And it flickers so it looks like a fake candle.
Oh.
But it's yeah, what you do is see this, it's solar powered. So the sun, it sits in the sun, and then you vote up.
What?
This was a lot faster earlier.
All right. While you're doing that, I'm gonna switch to something that I want you to check out at some point here. Look at this weird car.
I'm done. Okay, look at here. Okay, so this is a little lantern. Like that. That was graceful. It's a little lantern, and it looks like a candle. It looks like a flickering candle.
Okay.
See? Can you see that?
Yeah.
It's kind of flickering, eh? Yeah. There it goes.
Okay.
So you can have it, and you don't worry about burning your tent down. So that's neat. And that's that.
What about flashlights?
Well, I've got flashlights. I've already got that stuff.
It's just an extra light, and you just hang it?
I wanted one hanging from the inside of the tent, so there's a nice little light thing, cost like a couple bucks. So
okay. Oh well, thanks for the unboxing, John. That was good.
No,
man.
I did have a minute and a half YouTube video about how to. I did have a minute and a half YouTube video I wanted to share, though. I did have a minute and a half YouTube video.
Okay, let's watch that. Thank you, Charlene Walsh, I believe. I just got
awesome.
Yeah, Charlene. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Charlene. Yeah, so this was a good little cautionary. There's a Woodland Park Zoo. Now I think they've done this for years. This is a bit of an older video, but I think they still do it. It's near Seattle, Washington, not too far from Bremerton, Washington, where you and I have performed at the high school there before. And they actually do this demonstration for people about what happens to a campsite when bears come through and you haven't stored your food properly. So that's a big thing about these freeze-dried foods. And I'm going to be hoisting food up into the tree, just to make sure you get a bear barrel. You got to be really careful, especially if you're in bear country. This is a great example of exactly what would happen if this is the demonstration they do.
We've got a good treat for you here today. Thanks to Woodland Park Zoo for having us. Any bears yet? Oh, yes. I see a bear. It's difficult to miss when they weigh 700 pounds, isn't it? All these things are what are going to attract a bear into your backyard. And unfortunately, when the bear is fed, as the saying goes, a fed bear is a dead bear. So unfortunately, if a bear gets into a backyard and gets into all these attractants, then it's going to end up having to be killed.
That tent does not look.
Oh my goodness.
Can you imagine, think about it, you'd be asleep, it wouldn't be long before the tent's upside down. Look at that.
Suddenly that tent looks kind of flimsy, doesn't it?
Yep, I agree. Now look at him crush this cooler. Rip the top off the cooler.
Oh, the barbecue's gonna go, I think. Yeah, there goes the barbecue.
What is that, a chicken coop? Why is there a chicken? Is that a real chicken?
I don't know.
These guys are just having fun at this point.
No, I don't think so.
What the heck?
Yeah. So let this be a lesson to you folks. Make sure you store your.
The problem with this video is like this. They kind of look. It's kind of cute there, right?
That's pretty cute.
Look at that. Why
That
is
bear
it,
reminds me of Clooney.
Why
Like,
is
there
it
are
rolling
times
in the
when my
water
dog-
like that?
Very nice.
And why is it? What is it doing here? Is nobody's gonna explain what this is?
I don't know. He's flossing his teeth after eating the chicken.
What the heck was that?
I have no clue.
All right, is this basically it?
Yeah, that's it. So anyway,
Just watch them walk away. Okay. Just
doesn't take long.
yeah, that one
Doesn't take long.
I agree that's informative, but I also feel like it's a little yeah, it counterintuitive when you're looking at that bear just rolling in the water and kind of works against itself. The message. I feel a little bit.
The cute bear rolling in someone's tent.
Yeah. I think you gotta add some.
I don't know.
You can't
It's
have
still
the
effective
playful
for me.
music. I think you gotta have a bit more like a da-na, da-na, and that the bear comes in. You know, he looks angry, he starts ripping stuff.
Well, that's not reality though. They're not like angry. They're just coming in and smashing your tent over, and then they probably get scared, and then they get
Okay.
angry.
Jody says he's flossing his teeth. There you go.
That's what I said.
So-
I think Jody's right. I think he's flossing his teeth after eating the sleeping bag.
Right. So that's good.
Anyway,
Well,
you
I-
want to show me something, man?
I
You
do,
said,
but
you
I
said,
actually
yeah.
have a little interesting picture. Trying to just. This
You
one was
can't
kind of
have a show
interesting.
called Off Road without talking about camping. By the way,
Yeah, I got an
can't.
animal one.
you can't.
Look
Like
at
talk
this
about
one.
animals and camping because that's
Look at
literally
this
all
one.
we do when we're on
I
the
saw
road.
this post. I saw this post, and it said that that they thought that the birds were having a funeral for this bird over here.
No.
Yeah, and then they put their wings out, and look, this bird had been hit. Right?
No.
What do you think?
Wow. That's.
What do you think? Look at this. What is that?
I have no idea. That's kind of profound, though.
Yeah, I went through the comments. It has nothing to do with the birds. It said somebody said in Texas
Fly away, buddy. Fly away.
during the yeah. Didn't it kind of look like that? In Texas during the
spirit, Let
winter,
the spirit move.
Texas during the winter, close to spring, turkey vultures do this to warm up their wings. When I worked,
Oh.
I don't know why. This
know
person got 4.9 thousand upvotes. This was on Reddit, and several awards. And they start going into the second sentence
So they're
talking
you
about.
can win awards for comments now?
Yeah, you get awards. I don't know what they're
What?
do, but when I worked at Travelocity, they would be on the
Wow.
building's windowsills doing this every year. So
Oh, wow.
I just found it kind of interesting as well that
Nah, I think
that-
it's a funeral.
the Travelocity was relevant
No, it's a
to
funeral,
the.
man. Come on. Come on, it's a funeral.
Oh, we got
This is just
Yao.
the-
Yao
we've
in
got
here.
these-
Hey, Yao. Thanks for
We've got these scientific
watching the stream.
Thank you, Yao. We got these scientific explanations for everything, but in truth, what they caught on camera was a Pixar moment where literally something bad
Right,
happened and
that
all
would
the birds
be-
were
Yeah, our mom would see that and she would say,
fly away home, buddy.
unequivocally, or that the birds.
Oh
were,
yeah,
right. She would
yeah,
say
for sure.
for
Mom,
sure that the.
Mom sees the human in all the animals. She sees the human things that happen, and she sees the human emotions in all the animals.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. Would it be?
Um,
It's unequivocally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I would be sitting here afterwards and be like, did I just? Anyways.
Yeah, you nailed it. Very nice. It's a
So
good-
we
it's a good
did your
word.
unboxing.
That's almost as long as the name of that
Oh yeah.
shack in Michigan.
This place. If nobody saw it earlier, this.
That's unequivocally is a long word, but it's not that long. That's nuts.
Right. I honestly
yeah,
kind
that's
of
very
am debating.
impractical.
I'm debating whether it's real. I'm just gonna.
I think it must be
Google.
Lake Chag. They must call it Lake Chag.
No, they
for
call it
short.
Lake Webster or something. I said
What?
it earlier. No, they
Doesn't look
Okay.
anything like Webster. Good stuff.
it's possible that that's like the First Nation name. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
It must be right. Like I don't know.
Maybe it's a combination of a bunch of.
This is so it's so long even to type.
Wow.
Yes.
Is Google
Yes.
Google auto
Don-
search not working for you?
Oh, this works. Look at how ridiculous this is. Me typing this in. Crazy. Okay. React. Okay. Lake Chao Bana Gungamagug. Okay.
No,
Webster. So it's Webster
It
because
was
of the
longer
location.
on the.
No,
Okay.
that's what it is. The thing.
Wow.
It looks long
Yeah, but
there. Did I?
that's a lot longer. Maybe is it a doctored photo?
Oh. Maybe. Does this look doubled? No, it's not doubled.
I don't know. No. Yeah.
Anyways, so
Maybe
it
they
says
said
like
it twice.
You're right. It is. It is. Where's like? It is shorter here.
Jody's
Located.
got the answer. Jody's got the answer.
How to pronounce? I'm hoping this is safe.
Our most
Yeah.
important
Okay,
ingredient
We're taking a jump here, folks. So sorry if
No, this is safe. Let's see. How to say? Okay.
At how
Never
to
know with you.
pronounce the name of this lake. Yes, this is a very long lake name. A lake also known as Webster Lake.
Oh, it's in
a lake
Massachusetts.
in the
Jody
town of
says.
Webster,
Okay.
Massachusetts. We might as well
Massachusetts.
just call it Webster
So
Lake,
Reddit was
right?
wrong.
Or shall we give it a go at saying this long word? How do you go about pronouncing it? Chowgagagag, manchagagag, chowbana gungagag, gungamug. I messed it up.
Okay. So I thought that
you
was
did
a
way
legitimate
better than me
post.
though. Okay, so
It must be
Massachusetts. So we
First
were
Nations.
wrong. It's not Michigan. although
Yeah.
it seems
Okay.
like
Sorry. So I'm reporting this stuff. I
Massachusetts.
gotta double check when I get some Reddit stuff. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so Massachusetts, we gotta stop there next time we're on
It's
tour.
off road.
down through.
We aren't a. This isn't news. So
This isn't news. This isn't like we're not reliable.
tell me about the
necessarily.
Oscars. Tell me about the Oscars.
Yeah, let's talk about the Oscars because it is kind of on point about going through really cool little places and sort of discovering the beauty of small and maybe forgotten areas of particularly the U.S., but we have lots of that in Canada as well. Oscars were really I thought they were really cool. Like I thought it was really cool that they did it in this old train
I
station.
saw nobody was wearing masks and stuff.
Yeah, because but what they had done apparently was they had everybody inoculated and isolated prior, like they did do with their protocol for film shoots, and so they were able to do it through that. And then that was part of the. It was almost like they were putting on a production, right?
Okay.
So the Oscars were really cool. Very weird little ending, I will say. Kind of like ended very oddly, particularly because the last award, Best Actor, I think everybody thought that it was going to go to Chadwick Boseman. And no, they didn't mess it up, but it went to Anthony Hopkins, who apparently had a phenomenal performance in The Father. I haven't seen the film, but apparently it was brilliant. So I haven't seen either Ma Rainey's Black Bottom or The Father yet, so I can't really speak to performances. Apparently they're both great performances, but Anthony Hopkins wasn't there to accept the award. So it was, and Joaquin Phoenix, I mean, I love Joaquin's acting, but Joaquin is very anticlimactic when he speaks or announces anything, right?
Yeah.
So literally I thought, because they did a weird thing this year, they did Best Picture and then they did Best Actress and Best Actor to end, and I thought, okay, maybe they've done it because it's going to be a big sort of poignant moment because Chadwick Boseman is up for Best Actor. Maybe they're saving that to the end. That was my theory. And the thing about theories for Oscars, I might have a working theory about how the Oscars is going to end, and pretty much every time I'm wrong. So, I should have known right there. Like I have some prediction for how it's going to go out, and it never happens that way. So sure enough, I was wrong, and they didn't announce Chadwick Boseman. They announced Anthony Hopkins, which I think this is his second win for Best Actor in his career.
Did?
And yeah. Glenn Close also has never won an Oscar, by the way. She didn't get the Oscar this year. Glenn Close has never won an Oscar.
That's pretty wild.
Ever. And she's been nominated 8 times. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. But Joaquin Phoenix, who's very, very anticlimactic, he's just like, basically the ending of you got to go watch it. The ending was, okay, and the Oscar goes to Anthony Hopkins for The Father. And it was just like, clap, clap, clap. Okay, that's all, folks. Thanks very, very much. Good night. That was it. It was just the show was done.
Did I Google that?
I was like,
Is it
yeah.
worth watching?
Anyway, I don't know. I haven't looked it up. Sometimes it's hard to find Oscar replays that aren't just sort of like people talking about it with words over a screen. But I will talk about Nomadland. Nomadland won Best Picture. Frances McDormand won Best
There's
Actress.
a minute 44 here. Let's see.
Okay, give it a try. See if it works.
Okay, we don't need to. I have my ad blocker.
Ad blocker.
All right. Is this it?
Yeah.
I'm here to present the award for actor, and
This is the last award.
To talk about acting, and specifically the transformative moment when an actor discovers the character and fully embodies it. But I don't really know anything about that. I don't think that I've ever really had that experience. So I think the only thing that I can say with sincerity is that when I watch these 5 performances, I feel inspired, and it's a shame that we have to choose just one. So the nominees for actor are Anthony Hopkins, the father. Riz Ahmed, Sound of Metal.
Apparently, that's a really good film. I want to see.
Chadwick Boseman, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
I
Sad,
should watch
man.
this. Yeah, it's
Gary
tough.
Sad.
Oldman, Mank. Stephen Yeun, Minari. And the Academy Award for actor goes to Anthony Hopkins, the father.
Yeah, you gotta do a little.
Wait.
The Academy congratulates Anthony Hopkins and accepts the Oscar on his behalf. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
it. That was it. It was like,
tough.
and it was like, good night. That's the last.
The tough.
you
It
know?
sounds like
So
the way
I
we
don't
end
know
our
why
shows.
they didn't do Best Picture last. I'm not sure. I don't know why they changed it around. The only thing was I had this working theory. I thought, okay, maybe they changed it around because it's going to be poignant because they're going to give it to Chadwick Boseman, and it's going to, how do you kind of top that moment? And anyway, that's not what happened. It was a very weird finish. But anyway, I did like seeing Nomadland get a lot of love at the Oscars. I just watched Nomadland. Phenomenal film for anybody who does have Disney Plus. And this is not a shout out for Disney Plus. They do not sponsor us at all, but you can watch it there. And it's a brilliant film, beautifully shot.
I don't
Chloe
think anybody would ever think that, dude.
Zhao, that Disney Plus is
That
sponsoring
anybody
us.
would sponsor us, dude.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying it, but yeah, no,
Okay.
Disney
All
Plus
right.
obviously has no idea who we are. But Chloe Zhao, brilliant filmmaker. She is the second woman to win Best Picture Best Director in Oscar history. So let's keep seeing that. I mean,
Wasn't she in
brilliant
Fargo?
filmmakers like her. What's that?
Oh no, you're talking about the
No,
director.
Frances McDormand was in Fargo. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, this
And-
actress.
yeah, and she won Best Actress for it. Amazing film. For anybody who hasn't seen it, go check it out. It's a beautiful story, actually, about, and I think it really hit home for me because James and I have toured through these parts of the southern U.S. and we've spent a lot of time at, gas stations and truck stops, and lived out of our bus is basically like a big van, and we've lived out of vans too. And
Yeah.
so it kind of hit home for me because, excuse me, the story is about, it's a fictional story about a woman, and it's based on a book called Nomadland as well, whose husband has passed away. But this really did happen. The town of Empire, Nevada basically disappeared or all but closed down because in 2011, post financial crisis, 2008 financial crisis, the demand in gypsum had dropped, and the gypsum factory in Empire, Nevada closed down. And literally this was like the only thing in this town. And so the postcode was removed. The town vanished. as a result of it.
Wow.
And so what happened was there was a lot of these older people who, in the wake of the global financial crisis of 08, in and around 2011, they're older, and so they couldn't find work very easily because work was tough, and it was tougher still for people who are older. And so the movement that came out of that, or was sort of not just out of that, but people left empire and joined this kind of ongoing movement that had happened in the post financial crisis phenomenon of older people who adopted this nomadic lifestyle of living out of converted vans to be, and literally living from place to place, called van dwellers. And Bob Wells, this guy, he was a YouTuber at the time, an older gentleman who started kind of like gathering steam on this movement. And he founded the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, which is an annual gathering of van dwellers in Quartzsite, Arizona. So Nomadland is basically about a woman from Empire, town closed down, who becomes a van dweller. And the cool thing about Nomadland as a film is that Frances McDormand and the male actor in it, his name just escapes me now. He was in the Bourne Identity movies and a bunch of other ones. His name just escapes me right now off the top of my head. They're the only two actors in the film. The rest of the cast are all real people who are actual van dwellers, and they're playing fictionalized versions of themselves in this film. And so when you watch it, James, and I know you're a big appreciator of this, like, it's the most real feeling dialogue, real feeling interactions.
All right, I'll check it out.
Film, and it's a beautiful story. So, and it reminded me actually, and this is kind of a good note to finish on, because last week I was writing my final essay for my one of my classes, and it reminded me of the fact that just over a year ago we lost the great John Prine, incredible folk singer songwriter. And friend to Jesse McReynolds, who was one of our mentors in bluegrass music growing up. We lost him just over a year ago to COVID-19. We lost so many people, and obviously the Oscar Remembrance segment is a big reminder of that. But he wrote a great song. After this podcast, go right away, check out Paradise by John Prine, also recorded by Jim and Jesse. And this song reminded me so much of this story of Empire, because Paradise, and we grew up, you and I, James, listening to this song. The Empire story reminded me of Paradise, which is the story of a town that was strip mined, coal strip mined, when the coal company moved in, and the town disappeared. The post office was sold. The people were moved out due to health concerns, and there are stories after story of towns in the U.S. and Canada that have just sort of lost their population over time and died out. So stop whenever you're traveling, whenever this COVID thing lifts, stop into local places and enjoy the downtowns of small towns all across North America, because I think now more than ever, everybody needs a little bit of support to keep going, especially in the downtown business areas. So check out Nomadland, man. It's a really good film.
All right, man. Thank you for hanging out with us for another week on Off-Road with the Abrams. We will be back next Monday at 5:30 p.m. And we had a great time this week, and we need to figure out a send-off phrase, John, at some point.
We need a send-off phrase.
I was throwing around in my head, if you can see them, they can see you. What else did I think of?
That's good.
What about one of these days it will all make sense?
No, I like that. That's my favorite. One of these days it'll all make sense.
All right. So with that being said, thanks for hanging out with us. We're Off-Road with the Abrams, James and John Abrams, and one of these days it'll all make sense.